A Korean billionaire came to my restaurant every night, then offered me a job I couldn't refuse. The tray slipped from Mia's hand when she heard him say it. Come work for me. Wine glasses shattered across the restaurant floor. Customers turned. Her manager shouted her name. But Mia couldn't move. Because the Korean billionaire who had come to her section every night for 6 months had just looked her in the eyes and offered her a job that sounded less like employment and more like temptation. And Mia had no idea that saying yes would pull her into a world where hearts could be bought, families could destroy love, and one rich man's secret would change her life forever. 3 hours earlier, Mia had been trying to survive another Friday shift. The dinner rush at the upscale Seoul restaurant was merciless. Orders flying, managers yelling, rich customers snapping fingers like servants were invisible. Mia balanced 3 plates on one arm, forcing the practiced smile she wore even when exhaustion sat behind her eyes. She was used to people staring. A tall black woman in elite Seoul always drew attention. Sometimes admiration, sometimes judgment. Sometimes both. But she had learned to carry herself like she belonged anywhere she stepped. And she did, even if life lately had made her feel otherwise. Mia, table 7, the hostess whispered. Her breath paused. Table 7, his table. Every night. Same corner. Same quiet entrance. Same dark tailored suits. Same unreadable eyes.
Kwang.
She walked over, trying not to show the way her pulse changed around him. Good evening. He looked up from his phone. And there it was again. That gaze. Like he wasn't just looking at her. Like he was studying a poem. The usual? She asked. He nodded.
Then,
sit for a moment. She blinked. Customers didn't ask waitresses to sit. Especially not billionaires. She laughed softly. I'm working. 1 minute.
His voice was calm,
but impossible to ignore. Against her better judgment, she sat. He leaned back. You've been avoiding me. Mia almost smiled. You say that like we're dating. Are we not? She nearly choked. He was impossible. She shook her head. You come, eat, tip too much, and barely speak. And yet you know when I'm in a bad mood. She froze. Because it was true. She had noticed. On certain nights his jaw tightened differently. His silence grew heavier. And somehow she knew. That unsettled her.
She stood.
You should let me get your order. As she turned, he said quietly, You look beautiful when you're nervous. Mia almost forgot how to breathe. She walked away before he saw her smile. Her coworkers noticed everything. Oh, he likes you, one whispered. Stop. He only talks to you. He talks in complete sentences, maybe once a week.
Exactly.
That's romance for rich men. Mia laughed it off. But truth was, she had started waiting for his arrival. Started fixing her lipstick before 7. Started pretending she didn't. And that scared her. Because men like Kwang belonged in magazines. Not in the life of a woman trying to pay rent. Yet every night he returned. And each night, another layer opened. One evening he asked, What would you do if money wasn't a problem? Mia smirked. Sleep. He laughed. Actually laughed.
Warm.
Unexpected. Then she said, I'd open a cafe. With what theme? She thought. A place where people feel chosen. He looked at her for a long second, then said, That suits you. No man had ever listened to her dreams like they mattered. And somehow, that was more dangerous than flirting. One rainy night, she found him waiting after closing. Restaurant empty. Lights dim. You're still here? I was waiting. For what? For your shift to end. Her heart stumbled. That sounds inappropriate. Probably. He stood. Held out an umbrella. I'm driving you home. She should have refused. She didn't. In the car, silence wrapped around them. Comfortable. Intimate. City lights slipping past. Then he asked, Why did you move to Korea? My mother died. His hands tightened slightly on the wheel. She wanted me to chase bigger dreams. He looked at her. She would be proud. Her throat tightened unexpectedly.
No one had said that.
At her apartment building, she moved to leave, but paused. Why do you come to my restaurant every night? He smiled faintly. Because I like dinner. She rolled her eyes. Liar. He leaned closer, close enough to make her forget logic, then whispered, because you're there. She got out too fast, heart in chaos. And from that night, everything changed. Flowers started appearing. No name, just notes. Eat lunch today. Don't skip meals. Wear the blue dress Friday. Blue is dangerous on you. She knew it was him, and hated how much she loved it. Then came the night everything shifted. A powerful investor insulted Mia in front of guests, called her exotic decoration. She stood frozen, humiliated. Before she could respond, a voice cut through the room. She serves with more dignity than you conduct business. The restaurant went still.
Kwang.
The investor laughed nervously, but Kwang didn't. He stood,
Put on his jacket.
looked at the man, apologized, and somehow a billionaire made a grown man obey. Later Mia confronted him outside. You didn't have to do that. Yes. Why? He stepped closer. Because I don't like seeing people disrespect what I value. What I value. She felt those words for days. Then, tonight happened. The broken tray, the shattered glasses, and his impossible offer. Come work for me. Back in the present, the restaurant noise returned. Mia stared. What? He rose from his chair, calm while her world tilted. I need a private cultural liaison. She frowned. That sounds made up. It may be. His mouth curved. She tried not to smile. Why me? Because I trust you. She folded her arms. You don't know me. I know enough. He slid a folder across the table. Contract. Salary so absurd she thought it was a joke. Housing included. Private driver. Travel. She looked up. This is insane.
No.
His gaze locked onto hers. It's overdue. What exactly is the job? He hesitated.
Rare.
Interesting. Then, you would attend events with me. Like an assistant? In part. In part.
He leaned in.
And occasionally pretend to be close to me. Mia blinked. Pretend. For family reasons. She stared. There it was.
The twist.
This wasn't a job. Not really. It was something stranger. More intimate. More dangerous. I should say no. Will you? He already knew she wouldn't. That irritated her. What's the catch? He was quiet. Then, my family will hate it. That should have been warning enough. Instead, it intrigued her. Before she could answer, an elegant woman entered the restaurant. Beautiful. Cold. Designer perfection. She walked straight to Kwang, placed a hand on his shoulder, and kissed his cheek. Mia froze. The woman looked at Mia, then smiled too politely. So this is her. Mia looked at Kwang. His face changed. For the first time, uncomfortable. The woman extended a hand. I'm Sujene.
Pause.
Kwang's fiancé. The word hit like ice water. Fiancé. Mia slowly turned toward him. He didn't deny it. Her pride rose fast enough to cover hurt. She pushed the contract back. You should have led with that. She walked off, humiliation burning. She avoided him rest of shift. But after closing, she found him waiting outside in rain. No umbrella, just standing there, like a fool, like a man in love.
Mia.
She kept walking. He followed. She is not what you think. Oh, good, Mia snapped. Because I thought she was your fiancé. She was arranged. Even worse. He stepped in front of her, rain falling between them. It's over. Then why didn't you say so? He looked almost wounded. Because I was afraid you'd stop looking at me the way you do. Her anger stumbled. What way? He lowered his voice. Like I'm not just another rich man. Silence.
Rain. Heartbeat.
Then, I need you. Not smooth. Not seductive.
Raw.
Unexpected. She whispered. For a job. His eyes held hers.
No.
That one word changed air. Mia looked away first. Dangerous territory. He held out the contract again. Come with me tomorrow. To where? My family estate. She laughed in disbelief. You move fast. I've been waiting 6 months. She should have walked away. Instead, she asked, if I say yes, what happens? His answer came low. Your life changes. She should have been terrified. Instead, she felt curious. Which was worse? As she took the folder, Sujene watched from a car across the street. Unseen.
Cold. Smiling.
Because Mia didn't yet know. The job Kwang offered had little to do with business. And everything to do with a family secret no outsider was meant to touch. A secret tied to why his mother wanted a bride. Why his ex hadn't truly left. And why Kwang had chosen Mia long before she ever noticed him. As Mia opened the contract later that night, an envelope slipped out. A photograph of her, taken years ago, before she met him, before the restaurant, before any of this. And on the back, in Kwang's handwriting, I've been searching for you longer than you know. Mia's breath caught, because suddenly, the billionaire hadn't just walked into her restaurant. He may have been looking for her all along. If you think Mia should take the job, comment say yes. And if you already feel Kwang is hiding something bigger, let me know below. Like the video, subscribe, and don't miss the next part. Because when Mia enters Kwang's world, she discovers why a billionaire chose a waitress and why another woman is ready to destroy her for it. Mia almost didn't go. By morning, the contract sat on her tiny kitchen table beside cold coffee and unanswered doubts. Every sensible part of her said teared up. Stay in her lane. Keep serving tables. Forget the billionaire with dangerous eyes and impossible words. But she kept staring at the photograph. The old photo. Her younger self. Taken years before she knew him. I've been searching for you longer than you know. Who writes something like that and means it? By noon her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello. His voice.
Low.
Controlled. Too familiar already. Are you coming? She should have said no. Instead, maybe. A pause. Then amusement. That means yes. She hated how well he read her. When the black car arrived outside her apartment, neighbors peeked through curtains. Mia almost turned around, but she stepped in, and everything ordinary started slipping away. Kwang looked devastating in a charcoal suit. She hated noticing. He glanced at her dress. Simple. Elegant.
Blue.
The color from his note. You wore it. Mia crossed her arms. Don't sound pleased. I'm very pleased. She looked out the window to hide a smile. Dangerous. Very dangerous. The drive to his family estate felt unreal. Mountains.
Gates.
Old money. Silence. Mia finally said it. You still haven't told me what this really is. He looked ahead. My family thinks I need a proper wife. And you need a fake one. His mouth curved. Temporary. That sounds worse somehow. He leaned closer. Try not to look terrified when you meet them. She laughed. Try not to look engaged. He actually laughed. And somehow tension softened. That scared her more than anything. The estate looked less like a home and more like a kingdom. Stone courtyards. Gardens. Servants moving with rehearsed precision. Mia whispered, You live here? I escaped here. Before she could ask what that meant, the front doors opened, and his mother appeared. The same elegant, intimidating woman. Eyes sharp as knives. She approached Mia slowly, looked her over, then said, She's taller than I expected. Mia blinked. That was apparently approval. Kwang's mother turned to him. You brought her. You sound surprised. I'm disappointed. Mia heard every word. Kwang didn't flinch. She stays. His mother's eyes moved to Mia again. You understand what people will say. Mia lifted her chin. I've survived people talking before. For the first time, a faint trace of respect touched the woman's face. Interesting. Very interesting. Then came Sujene. Of course. Graceful. Immaculate. Danger in heels. She kissed the air beside Kwang's cheek, as if she still belonged there. Then smiled at Mia. I was curious about the waitress. Mia smiled back. And I was curious about the ex. Kwang nearly choked hiding a smile. Sujene noticed. And hated that he smiled because of Mia. That was obvious. Dinner was war disguised as etiquette. Crystal glasses. Ancient family portraits. Judgment in every glance. Questions like traps. Kwang's mother asked, "What makes you suitable for my son's world?" Mia answered calmly, "What makes your son suitable for mine?" Silence. A servant almost dropped wine. Even Kwang looked stunned. Then, he smiled.
Proud.
Openly. His mother saw it. Sujene saw it too. And jealousy moved quietly across her face. Later in the garden, Mia exhaled. That was interrogation. Kwang stepped beside her. You survived. Barely. He looked at her under lantern light. You were extraordinary. Her heart betrayed her again. She changed subject. Why did your ex look at me like she wanted me dead? She prefers control. And you? He stepped closer. I prefer you. Mia looked away too late. You flirt at inappropriate times. Only when desperate. There it was again. That almost unbearable sincerity. Then he said softly, "There's something I need tonight." Mia frowned. That sounds suspicious. He held out a velvet box. She stared. Absolutely not. Relax. Inside. A family heirloom ring. For appearances. She looked horrified. You want me to wear this? For dinner tomorrow. There's more? He nodded. Family announcement. Her jaw dropped. You move like a man with no fear. He smiled. Not true. What scares you? Losing things I love. He didn't mean to say it aloud. But he did. And both heard it. Silence deepened. Then footsteps. Sujene. Of course. I was looking for Kwang. Her eyes lingered on the ring. Then Mia. You should be careful. Mia folded arms. Of what? Sujene smiled. Falling for a man who belongs to ambition before love. Then she walked away. A poison wrapped as advice. That night Mia couldn't sleep. The guest room was luxurious. But her thoughts louder. A knock.
Kwang.
Again. Why did he keep appearing when her defenses weakened? He entered holding tea. Again. Do billionaires solve everything with tea? Only serious things. He sat. Neither spoke for a while. Then Mia asked, Did you ever love Sujene? He answered too honestly.
No.
That surprised her. Then why be engaged?
Duty.
And me? His gaze settled on her. You were never duty. Her pulse stumbled. She whispered, Kwang. He moved closer. Not touching. Worse than touching. I came to that restaurant for months rehearsing what I'd say to you. She blinked. What? And every night. He smiled faintly. I forgot all of it. Mia laughed softly. The billionaire gets nervous? With you. He leaned in. Always. Silence. Heavy. Breathing. Close. Too close. She should have stepped back.
Didn't.
Then, his fingers lifted her chin.
Slowly.
Questioningly. Like asking permission. And kissed her.
Soft.
Tentative. Like even he feared breaking the moment. Mia forgot the room. Forgot logic. Forgot this was supposed to be fake. When he pulled away, neither spoke. She whispered first. That was not in the contract. His forehead touched hers. I'm revising terms. She laughed. And that ruined them both. Because laughter turned into something intimate. Real. Then the door opened. Kwang's mother, frozen, watching. Her face hardened. Mia stepped back. Too late. The older woman said only, "My son, my study, now." Kwang left. Mia barely slept after. Next morning the announcement banquet began.
Press.
Investors. Society, women judging. Mia in an elegant gown Kwang had chosen. She hardly recognized herself. When she descended the staircase, conversation stopped. Even Kwang forgot to breathe. He crossed the room, whispered, "You're trying to kill me." She smiled. "You'll survive." Uncertain. Then, before everyone, he took her hand, raised a glass, and announced, "I would like my family to meet the woman I intend to marry."
Gasps.
Flashbulbs.
Shock.
Mia nearly forgot to act, but then his hand squeezed hers, steadying, possessive, and something about that felt dangerously good, until Sujene stood, lifted her own glass, smiling. "I'm so happy for you both." Too sweet.
Too polished. A lie.
Then, she dropped a folder onto the table. Photos spilled out. Everyone stared. Mia froze. Old photographs. Her past. Personal things no one here should know. Her immigration struggles. Her debts. Her family. Humiliation rushed hot through her. Sujene smiled. "Before this family accepts a bride," she said softly, "shouldn't they know who she really is?" The room turned deadly quiet. Kwang's face darkened. Mia's chest burned. And she realized this wasn't social rivalry. It was war. But the greater shock came when Kwang stood, looked at the room, and instead of defending quietly, he said,
"Yes.
You should know exactly who she is." Mia turned toward him, stunned, because for one awful second, she didn't know whether he was about to protect her or destroy her himself. If you think Kwang is about to defend Mia or reveal something shocking, comment below. And if Sujene already has you angry, hit like and subscribe, because next segment, Mia's past becomes a scandal, Kwang makes a public move no one sees coming, and the fake arrangement starts becoming impossible to call fake. The room stayed so silent Mia could hear her own heartbeat. Photographs lay scattered across polished wood. Her private struggles displayed like entertainment. The humiliation stung so sharply her fingers shook. And Kwang was standing,
About to speak.
She couldn't read his face. That terrified her. "Yes," he said again, looking around the room. "You should know who she is." Mia braced herself. Then he picked up one of the photographs, looked at it, smiled faintly, and said, "This woman worked 2 jobs to put herself through school." He lifted another. "This woman sent half her earnings home to support family." Another. "This woman has more dignity than many people born into wealth." Silence shifted. Mia blinked. Sujene's smile faltered. Kwang stepped closer to Mia, placed an arm around her waist. Natural, protective, dangerously intimate, and looked at his family. "You ask who she is?" He lifted Mia's hand. "She is the first woman I've ever chosen for myself." The room inhaled. Mia forgot to breathe, because that was not part of any arrangement. His mother stared in shock. Investors murmured. Reporters scribbled. Sujene looked like she'd been slapped. And Kwang, as if finishing a business decision, added, "And if anyone humiliates her again in my presence." His voice turned cold. "They insult me." No one moved. Mia's eyes burned. Not from shame now. From something far more dangerous. Emotion. Real emotion. Then, Kwang leaned down and whispered only for her, "Don't let her see she hurt you." Too late. He had undone her. Dinner ended in chaos. Whispers. Speculation. Scandal. But Kwang kept Mia close the entire evening, his hand at her back, his fingers brushing hers. Little touches impossible to ignore. And every touch felt less fake. Later she confronted him in the garden. Moonlight.
Cold air.
Heart racing. What was that? What? That speech. He looked innocent. I answered a question. Mia stepped closer. You made it sound real. He looked straight at her. It felt real. She hated how her pulse reacted. Kwang, he interrupted. When she attacked you, his jaw tightened. I forgot everyone else existed. Silence. She whispered, Why? He stepped near enough to ruin her concentration. Do you still not know? Before she could answer, his mother appeared. Of course. Nothing intimate survived in peace. The older woman looked between them, then said, My son, walk with me. Kwang left reluctantly. Mia stayed in the garden alone, until another voice came. Sujene, like perfume before poison. You enjoyed that performance? Mia turned. It wasn't performance. Sujene smiled sadly. Oh, she was changing tactics. Dangerous. You think he defended you for love? Mia said nothing. Sujene stepped closer. He does this. Does what? Makes women feel chosen. The words landed, because insecurities always know where to bite. You're lying. Sujene tilted her head. Then ask why he never told you about the board vote. Mia froze. The what? Sujene saw she didn't know, and smiled. There it is. She walked away, leaving damage behind. That night Mia found Kwang in the library, alone, sleeves rolled, reading documents, too beautiful for concentration. She hated noticing. You kept something from me. He looked up, sensed the storm. Sujene. Board vote. Silence. He closed the file. You weren't supposed to hear it from her. Then tell me. He stood. Slowly. There is a succession vote in 3 weeks. And this arrangement helps you win. In part. She laughed bitterly. So, I am useful. Mia. Was that why you chose me? He stepped toward her. No, but it helps. Silence. Painful. He didn't deny it quickly enough. That hurt. She whispered. I knew there was a catch. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. First time she had ever done that. It visibly affected him. I should leave. No. Why? His voice dropped. Because I need you. She shook her head. You need leverage. Then she walked out, and for the first time, left him speechless. The next morning she avoided him. Until breakfast, where Kwang's mother unexpectedly asked Mia to join her. Alone. A trap? Probably. They walked through gardens. The older woman said nothing for a long while. Then, my son has changed. Mia looked cautious. Because of me? The woman nodded. He laughs. Pause. He used to not. That surprised her. Then, you should leave him. That surprised her more. Mia frowned. You just said I changed him. Yes. Then why leave? The older woman stopped. Because for once she was speaking not as matriarch, as mother. Because men in this family destroy what they love. There was fear in her voice. Real fear. And Mia felt it. That afternoon Kwang knocked at Mia's guest room. No answer. Again. Still none. Finally. Go away. He entered anyway. She glared. Bold. He held up food. Peace offering. She tried not to smile. Failed. He noticed. Always noticed. He sat. I deserve your anger. Yes. I used you. There. Honesty. Painful and clean. Mia looked away. At first. She turned back. At first. He nodded. When I offered the arrangement, he struggled. Rare. Interesting. I thought I could control it. And now. He stepped closer. Now I can't sleep when you're upset with me. Her heart betrayed her again. No discipline. No survival instinct. Just treacherous feelings. She whispered, You make this difficult. He moved even closer. You do worse to me. Their foreheads nearly touched. Then, Mia. His voice softer. If this began as strategy. His hand found hers. It stopped. She should have resisted. Instead, prove it. He blinked.
How?
She surprised herself. Kiss me like there's no contract. He stared, then obeyed. And this kiss wasn't tentative. It was confession.
Need.
Weeks of restraint breaking. Mia forgot anger, forgot reason, forgot breathing. Until a camera clicked. They pulled apart. A photographer. Paparazzi. Outside the open terrace doors. Photos taken. Scandal captured. Kwang cursed. Too late. By evening, every news outlet carried headlines. Billionaire heir secretly in love with foreign waitress. Mia panicked. This is a disaster. Kwang looked almost amused. I've had worse press. I haven't. Then his phone rang. He answered, face changing.
Cold.
What happened? He ended call. The board moved the vote up. When? Tomorrow. Everything changed. Again. That night investors filled the estate. Pressure everywhere. And just before the vote dinner, Sujene approached Mia dressed in silver vengeance. I should thank you. Mia frowned. For what? For making him weak. Then she slipped an envelope into Mia's hand and walked away. Mia opened it privately. Inside, documents, corporate filings, and one shocking page. A clause. Marriage to Kwang before the vote gives spouse shared control rights. Mia's breath stopped. Shared control. This wasn't symbolic. This marriage could make her part owner of an empire. Suddenly, everything looked different. Was this love or acquisition? She confronted Kwang immediately, holding papers. You were going to make me sign into your empire?
His face changed.
Mia, were you ever going to tell me? It was complicated. She laughed in disbelief. You keep using that word. He grabbed her wrist gently. Listen.
No.
Tears she hated rose. Tell me honestly. Her voice broke. Do you love me or need me to win? Silence. Too much silence. And sometimes hesitation answers louder than words. Mia stepped back wounded. At that exact moment, a servant rushed in. Sir, the board members are waiting. Kwang looked torn. Empire or her? A cruel choice. Mia whispered, go save your company, and walked away. But at the board gathering moments later, with billionaires assembled, Kwang stunned everyone. He ignored the chairman, ignored the vote, walked straight across the room, dropped to one knee before Mia, in front of everyone, and pulled out a ring. Real this time. Not heirloom staging. A ring chosen. For her. Gasps exploded. Mia froze. And Kwang said, I should have done this without lies.
His voice shook.
For the first time, in front of everyone, he looked up at her. I'm asking because I love you. The room vanished. Only him. Only those words. Then, from the back of the hall, a man's voice thundered. She cannot marry him. Everyone turned. An older man stepped into light. And Mia dropped the ring. Because she knew that face. The father she believed abandoned her years ago. Standing inside Kwang's family empire. As if he belonged there. And suddenly, her past had entered the war. If that twist shocked you, comment right now. Did you expect Mia's father to appear here? And if Kwang's proposal had you emotional before everything exploded, like the video and subscribe, because in the next segment Mia learns how her father is tied to Kwang's family and why their love may be forbidden in ways neither imagined. The ring hit the marble floor with a sharp sound that seemed louder than the gasps around it. Mia couldn't move. Her father. The man she had spent years trying to forget. The man who disappeared when life collapsed. Standing in Kwang's family hall, as if he belonged there. Her throat tightened. No. The word barely escaped. Kwang rose slowly from one knee.
Confused.
He looked from Mia to the older man. You know him? Mia whispered. That's my father. Shock moved through the room like fire. Even Kwang seemed unprepared. And for the first time since meeting him, he looked shaken. Her father stepped closer. Older, grayer, but unmistakable.
Mia.
She stepped back. Don't call me that. Not after years of silence. Not after abandonment. Not after grief. Her voice cracked. You're dead. He swallowed hard. I tried to find you. She laughed bitterly. Interesting time to start. The room had forgotten the board vote. Forgotten wealth. Forgotten everything. Now, it was family wounds bleeding in public. Kwang's mother stood, her face pale. She knew something. Mia saw it, and fear curled inside her. Then her father turned toward Kwang's family. This marriage cannot happen. Mia stared. Excuse me? His voice hardened. There are things she doesn't know. Sujene looked delighted.
Of course she did.
Chaos was her oxygen. Kwang stepped forward. Say what you came to say. And the older man did. Years ago, Mia's father had worked for Kwang's late father. Not as servant, as strategist. A trusted architect behind the empire's early rise. Until betrayal destroyed everything. A scandal. A disappearance. A family torn apart. Mia struggled to process it. She looked at Kwang. You knew. He looked wounded.
No.
But his mother, silent.
Too silent.
Mia turned sharply. You knew. The older woman held her gaze.
Yes.
She had known. The betrayal hit differently because it came from the woman who had begun to soften. Mia stepped away from everyone. Humiliated.
Confused.
Exposed. Again. And then the cruelest blow came. Her father looked at her and said, I left to protect you. Mia laughed through tears. By abandoning me? He had no answer strong enough. No one did. She ran. Out of the hall. Out into the cold night garden. Kwang followed.
Of course he did. Mia.
Don't. She turned on him. You proposed while hiding another secret. I didn't know. But everyone around you lies. Pain sharpened her voice. And somehow I'm the only fool in the room. He moved closer. She stepped back. I meant every word. She laughed. Did you? He looked wrecked. Actually wrecked. And somehow that hurt more. Then, I love you. Simple. Unarmed.
Real.
She wanted not to believe him. But her heart was traitor enough to hesitate. I don't know what's real anymore. He whispered. Me. That almost broke her. Almost. But pain won. She left him standing there. And that night, for the first time, Mia chose distance. The next morning she packed. Kwang found her with a suitcase. You're leaving? Yes.
No.
That startled her. He took the suitcase from her hand. Too intimate. Too desperate. You don't get to walk out because this became difficult. She stared. Listen to yourself. He softened instantly. Wrong approach. He knew it. He touched her face. I'm asking you to stay. Why? His voice dropped. Because when you leave, he exhaled. Everything goes cold. She nearly folded. Nearly. But wounds were too fresh. Then a knock. Her father.
Perfect.
The universe had jokes. Mia let him in. Kwang stayed. Tense. Protective. Possessive, even wounded. Her father looked at Kwang. We need privacy. No, Mia said. He stays. Kwang glanced at her. That mattered to him.
Clearly.
Her father sat, hands trembling, and began telling truths. Years ago, Kwang's father had helped Mia's father build the empire. But another family betrayed them, used false corruption charges, destroyed lives. And the family behind it, Sujene's. Mia blinked. What? Her father nodded. Her marriage to Kwang was never romance. It was alliance. Everything shifted. Again. Sujene wasn't just jealous ex. She was strategic threat. And then, one more thing. Mia almost dreaded breathing. Her father looked at Kwang. Your father once wanted our families joined. Silence. Kwang frowned. What? He turned to Mia. He knew of you before the restaurant. Mia looked at Kwang. You searched for me because of that? Kwang shook his head.
No.
His voice softened. I searched because I never forgot you. And somehow that mattered. Deeply. Her father left. Silence remained. Then Mia said quietly, When did you realize you loved me? Kwang smiled faintly. The night you argued with a customer twice your size over disrespecting a dishwasher. She laughed through tears. That's ridiculous. I nearly proposed then. Despite everything. She laughed. And something thawed.
Slowly.
Dangerously. That evening Kwang took her away from the estate. To Seoul. No guards. No family. Just city lights. Street food stalls. Ordinary life. And somehow seeing a billionaire eating spicy rice cakes on plastic stools felt absurdly intimate. Mia smiled. I like this Kwang. Which one? The one not trying to inherit empires. He leaned close. I like this Mia. Which one? The one not threatening to leave me. Their chemistry felt easier here.
Human. Real.
Then they walked along the river. Cold breeze. Quiet. And Kwang stopped. Pulled something from his pocket. Not ring. A tiny key. What's that? He handed it to her. The cafe. She frowned. What cafe? He smiled. The one you told me you'd open if money wasn't a problem. Her breath caught. I bought a place. Mia stared. Speechless. Kwang, it's yours. No grand gesture could have struck deeper. Because he had remembered a dream she said casually months ago, and made it tangible. That is how love ambushes people. Not with diamonds. With being deeply seen. She whispered, Why would you do this? He stepped close. Because your dreams should exist. And kissed her. Longer this time.
Certain.
No pretending left. Only feeling. Then her phone rang. Sujene. Mia frowned. Why would? She answered. Sujene's voice was calm. Too calm. If you want your father alive. Mia froze. Kwang saw her face change. What happened? Sujene continued. Come alone. The line died. Cold rushed through Mia. Kwang took the phone. Read the location. His face hardened.
No.
She has my father. We call police. She said alone. He grabbed her shoulders. You're not going. She stared back. You don't tell me what to do. He almost smiled despite panic. Even now. But then, I'm coming with you. They arrived at an abandoned gallery.
Dark.
Silent. Sujene waited. Elegant as ever. Terrifying as ever. Mia rushed inside. My father. Sujene smiled. He's safe. Then why? Because I needed honesty. She looked at Kwang. Then Mia. Does she know why her mother truly opposes her? Kwang's face changed. Alarm. Mia saw it. What? Sujene stepped forward. Cruel satisfaction glowing. His mother didn't oppose you because of class.
Pause.
She opposes you because Kwang was promised to me. Another pause. To pay for what your father once stole from this family. Mia stared at Kwang. You knew this. Silence. Again silence. Always the silences. And before he could speak, Sujene whispered the knife. He didn't choose between me and you. She smiled. He was supposed to marry both our futures. And Mia realized love wasn't the only thing fighting for Kwang. Legacy was. And legacy rarely loses quietly. If you think Sujene is pure danger now, comment below. And tell me, do you still trust Kwang with all these secrets? Like the video and subscribe, because in the next part Mia learns the one truth Kwang hid even from himself, and it may destroy or seal their love forever. Mia looked at Kwang as if she no longer recognized him. The abandoned gallery felt suddenly too cold, too quiet, too full of lies. Sujene's words hung in the air. He was supposed to marry both our futures. Mia stepped back slowly. One step, then another. as if distance might make betrayal hurt less. Kwang.
Her voice was barely sound.
Tell me she's lying. Kwang's jaw tightened. He didn't answer fast enough. And, once again, hesitation wounded louder than words. Mia laughed softly.
Broken.
Almost embarrassed. I keep asking for truth. Her eyes glistened. And you keep arriving late with it. Sujene watched with cruel satisfaction. Kwang turned sharply. This is what you wanted. She deserves honesty. You want possession. His voice cut like steel. But Mia hardly heard. Her chest felt hollow. Then Kwang moved toward her. Mia, listen to me. She shook her head. No. He reached for her. She stepped away. The rejection visibly struck him.
Good.
Maybe pain should travel both ways. What was I to you? She asked. The question carried too much. Not accusation.
Wound.
Kwang answered immediately this time. Everything. Mia looked at him, then almost smiled. The saddest kind. Why does everything with you feel half-hidden? Silence. Again. Always. Then she turned and walked out. This time, he didn't stop her. Maybe because he knew he had. Or maybe because for once, he had no defense left. Back at the estate, Mia packed for real. No hesitation. No confusion.
Done.
A knock. She ignored it. Another. Then Kwang entered. Disheveled. No billionaire polish. Just a man unraveling. You're leaving? Yes. Mia?
No.
She pointed toward the door. Don't use that voice. What voice? The one that makes me forgive things. He almost smiled despite misery, then stopped. Because she wasn't joking. He stepped closer anyway. I was supposed to marry Sujene for politics. Supposed to. Yes. But I refused. When? Long before you. Mia crossed her arms. You hid it. I ended it. You hid it. He exhaled.
True.
He had. And truth didn't soften because love existed. Then he said quietly, I was afraid if I told you all of it. He looked wrecked. You'd never stay long enough to love me. That nearly broke her. Nearly. But she whispered, maybe you never trusted me enough to let me choose. And that silenced him. Because she was right. She left the next morning. Back to her tiny apartment. Back to ordinary dishes. Ordinary shifts. Except nothing was ordinary anymore. The restaurant felt smaller. Life dimmer. Even coworkers noticed. You okay? Mia forced smiles.
Lied. Worked.
Pretended.
Failed.
Because once a woman has seen a man look at her like she is the answer to a question he's carried for years, normal becomes difficult. Then one night, Kwang came, as if nothing had happened. Sat at table 7. Same as always. The old ritual. Mia froze. Her manager whispered, Your billionaire's here. Not my billionaire. She walked over professionally. What can I get you? He looked up. Pain in his eyes. Conversation. She nearly folded. Instead, order, sir. He smiled faintly.
Punished.
Deserving it. Jasmine tea. Of course. She served him. Avoided looking too long. But after closing, he remained. Again. Waiting. Again. She sighed. You don't give up.
No.
What do you want? He stood. You. She rolled her eyes to hide the way her pulse moved. Terrible answer. It's the honest one. Silence. Then he said, Walk with me. Against better judgment.
She did.
Outside, soul glowed.
Alive.
They walked in quiet. Then Kwang stopped. I did something reckless. That narrows nothing. He handed her papers. She frowned. Open them. Her breath caught. Bored resignation. He had stepped down. From Succession. From the Empire. She looked up stunned. You gave it up? Yes. Why? His answer came so simply it hurt. You were right.
About what?
I kept asking you to choose me. He stepped closer. while refusing to choose you over power. Mia could barely speak. You walked away from billions? He smiled softly. I've spent my life being told what inheritance means. He touched her hand. But I finally know, she whispered. Kwang. He looked almost vulnerable. I choose you. There are moments when pride dies. This was one. Mia kissed him before logic interfered.
Hard. Certain.
Weeks of ache collapsing. When they parted, both laughing breathlessly, she whispered, You ruin my ability to stay angry. I work very hard at it, and maybe that should have been peace. But stories like theirs never let happiness arrive quietly. Days later, Kwang brought Mia to the little cafe he bought. Renovations nearly done. Warm lights. Wood shelves. Her dream becoming walls. She ran fingers across the counter in disbelief. It's real. He watched her, like seeing her happy fed him. Then, I have something else. She turned. What now? He pulled out a small worn envelope. Letters. Old letters. From his late father. Addressed to Mia's father. And inside, a truth. The betrayal years ago had been staged. By someone still inside the family. Someone close.
Someone they trusted.
Mia read one name. Her blood ran cold. Kwang's mother. No. Kwang nodded slowly. I didn't want to believe it. Everything shifted. Again. The woman who feared men and her family destroy what they love had helped destroy 2 families herself. And before they could even process it, the cafe door opened. Kwang's mother stood there, alone, without guards, without armor, just age, regret. She looked smaller somehow, human. For the first time, she faced Mia, then did something impossible.
Bowed.
An elder bowing to her. Apology. Mia stood stunned. The woman's voice trembled. I wronged your family. Silence. Then, I wronged you. Tears filled the older woman's eyes. Unexpected.
Disarming.
I feared losing my son. She looked at Kwang. And became what I feared. Mia said quietly. Why now? The woman answered. Because my son gave up an empire for you.
Pause.
And I finally understood the woman worth losing power for. Even Kwang seemed shaken. Then she said, One more thing. Sujene knows the truth. Cold returned instantly. What truth? She plans to expose everything. As if summoned, phones began buzzing. News alerts. Headlines exploding. Scandal leaks. Corporate fraud accusations. Families' secrets public. And one headline. Billionaire heir's romance linked to historic family corruption. Sujene had gone nuclear.
Kwang looked at Mia.
This is war. Mia surprised even herself.
No.
She lifted her chin. It's our turn. And, for the first time, the waitress wasn't surviving rich people's storms. She was stepping into one. Together. But late that night, after Mia fell asleep in Kwang's arms, his phone lit up. Unknown message. One image attached. A pregnancy test. And one text from Sujene. We need to talk about the child. Kwang went still. Because some secrets don't ruin love immediately. They wait. Then detonate. If you didn't see that ending coming, comment right now. Do you believe Sujene is lying about the child? And if Kwang giving up the empire for Mia got you emotional, hit like and subscribe, because the final segment changes everything when one last secret threatens to destroy the love they fought for. Kwang did not sleep. The phone glowed in darkness long after Mia drifted against his chest. One message. One sentence. We need to talk about the child. It should have been absurd. Impossible. But lies had entered their lives wearing expensive clothes before. Nothing could be dismissed too quickly. Kwang stared at the screen, then at Mia asleep beside him. Peaceful. Trusting. His chest tightened. Because after everything, one secret at the wrong moment could still ruin them. Morning came with sunlight and tension. Mia noticed immediately. You look guilty. He forced a smile. That specific? She narrowed her eyes. What happened? He should have told her instantly. Should have. Instead, I need to handle something. Her expression changed.
Small. Subtle.
But he saw it. The old wound. Hidden truths. Again. And he hated himself. Tell me. He exhaled, then handed her the phone. Mia read the message. Silence. Cold silence. Then, she laughed. Actually laughed. Sharp and disbelieving. Of course. Mia. Of course your ex claims a child in the final act. It may be a lie. May. The word cut. He stepped closer. I never hid anything with Sujene after we ended. Mia looked at him. Pain flickered. Do you hear how exhausting loving you has been? That hurt because it was true. Then she handed back the phone. Go meet her. He blinked. What? Go. You want me to?
No.
Her voice broke. But I need truth more. That was Mia. Even wounded, she chose truth. Hours later, Kwang met Sujene alone. Private hotel lounge. She arrived calm. Infuriatingly calm. Placed an envelope before him. Medical records. Pregnancy test. He stared, then looked up. Is this another game? Her eyes hardened. You think I would invent this? I think you invent many things. For the first time, hurt flashed across her face. Interesting. Then she said quietly, the child isn't yours. Silence. Kwang froze. What? She looked away. It was never about pregnancy.
He stood.
Fury rising. Then why this? Tears filled her eyes. Real tears. Unexpected. Because villains in stories often hide wounds. And sometimes become tragic before they become cruel. I wanted you to come. He stared in disbelief. That was your plan? Her voice trembled. You never came when I begged honestly. There it was. Not obsession. Desperation. Loneliness. She laughed bitterly. I wanted you to hurt the way I have. He should have hated her. Instead, he pitied her, which is sometimes worse. Then she reached into her bag. More documents. The final evidence proving her family orchestrated the historic betrayal. Everything needed to clear Mia's father. Everything. Kwang frowned. Why give me this? Sujene smiled sadly. Because she won.
Pause.
And I'm tired. For the first time, she wasn't rival. Just a woman who loved wrong and lost badly. As Kwang left, she said one last thing. Don't lie to Mia again. He nodded. He already knew. Meanwhile, Mia sat alone in the unfinished cafe, trying not to imagine futures collapsing. A voice behind her. You leave when hurt. She turned. Her father. He smiled faintly. You get that from me. She almost rolled her eyes. Progress. They sat. Quiet. Then he said, Do you love him? Simple question. Terrifying answer. Yes. No hesitation. Her father nodded. Then don't let fear disguise itself as wisdom. She looked at him. You abandon people. Exactly. He met her eyes. Learn from my mistake. Those words stayed. Then Kwang arrived. Breathless. As if he had run. Maybe he had. He walked straight to Mia. No distance. No preamble. And said, She lied. Mia studied him. He handed her the documents. Explained everything. Every word. No omissions. No strategic editing. Just truth.
At last.
When he finished, silence. Then Mia asked quietly, Why didn't you tell me the moment you got the text? He answered honestly. I was afraid. She nodded. And that is still the problem. He looked shattered. Then said, Teach me. That startled her. What? How to love you without fear ruining it. Silence. Powerful silence. Then Mia walked closer. You don't perform love. She touched his chest. You practice truth. He nodded, like taking vow. Then, from outside, Car horns.
Crowds.
Voices. They stepped out.
Press gathered.
News spreading. The scandal evidence had broken. Kwang's mother publicly cleared Mia's father. Sujene's family collapsed politically. And the cafe, through some impossible twist, had gone viral as symbol of their story. People waited outside, cheering.
For them.
Mia laughed in disbelief. What is this? Kwang smiled. Apparently we're a public love story now. She groaned. Horrifying. He leaned close. Marry me anyway. She stared. You are unbelievable.
No.
He reached into his coat. The ring. Again. But this time no boardrooms. No strategy. No audience planned. Just life interrupting. He dropped to one knee right there outside the cafe. Crowd gasped. Phones rose. Mia covered her mouth. And Kwang said, no empires attached.
People laughed.
He continued, no contracts. His voice shook. No performance. Just love. Mia. He looked up at her. You made me want a life wealth could not buy. Tears blurred her vision. You made me brave enough to choose it. Then, will you marry me? She tried speaking.
Failed.
Cried instead. Then laughed through tears, which somehow was very Mia, and said, yes. The crowd erupted, but she barely heard, because Kwang stood, kissed her, and for a moment all the chaos that brought them here felt worth it. Months later, the cafe opened, exactly as she dreamed.
Warm. Alive.
A place where people felt chosen. Like she once said, Kwang sometimes worked there badly. Terrible at coffee. Very good at distracting owner. His mother visited often, trying awkwardly to heal. Her father helped with books. Redemption looked ordinary sometimes. And one rainy evening after closing, Mia locked the doors.
Turned.
Found Kwang leaning against the counter watching her. What? He smiled. I remember the first night you served me. She laughed. You barely spoke. I was terrified. Billionaires get terrified? With gorgeous waitresses? She rolled eyes. Still blushed. He crossed the room, wrapped arms around her, and whispered, you know. What? I never came for the food. She smiled. I know. Then she placed his hand gently over her stomach. Kwang froze. Looked at her. Looked again. Speechless. Possibly first time ever. Mia grinned. You're going to be a father. His eyes filled. Actually filled. And the mighty billionaire looked undone. Beautifully undone. He dropped to his knees. Pressed forehead to her stomach. Laughing and crying at once. Mia whispered, say something. He looked up. Voice breaking. My whole life. He smiled through tears. I thought inheritance was companies. He touched her. You changed the meaning. And there it was. The offer she couldn't refuse had never been a job. It was a life. A family. A love story neither was supposed to have. And years later people still asked how a Korean billionaire fell for a black waitress. Mia always answered the same way. He didn't fall for a waitress. She'd smile. He kept coming back for a woman he couldn't forget. And somewhere in the cafe Kwang would add, and she still bosses me around. Because some great romances don't begin with fate. They begin with one man ordering dinner every night, until the woman serving him changes everything. If this story touched you, comment your favorite moment below. Was it the restaurant nights, the proposal, or the cafe ending? Like the video, subscribe, and share if you want more Afro-Korean romance dramas like this, because the next story might be even wilder.